Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're talking about carbohydrates, but we're going way beyond just pasta and bread. We are going to dive deep into the incredible molecular story of how the food on your plate actually becomes the fuel that powers your life. So, let's get into it. It all kicks off with a really simple question. Think about it. You take a bite of toast, maybe some potatoes, or even a piece of fruit. You chew, you swallow. And then what? What is the actual journey that food takes once it's inside you?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow that journey step by step. We're going to trace how a complex carbohydrate from your plate gets broken down into the simple fuel your cells are crying out for. This is a story of chemical transformation, and believe it or not, it's happening inside you right now.
Okay, first things first. Before we can really start this adventure, we've got to get the basics down. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with. So what is a carbohydrate? Really?
At its most fundamental level, a carbohydrate is just a molecule made of three simple elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. In fact, the name itself literally means hydrated carbon. And these molecules, they are, by far, the most plentiful source of fuel our bodies can get from nature.
And here is the magic number to remember: 4. For every single gram of carbohydrate you eat, your body gets about 4 calories of energy. This is it. This is the payoff. It's exactly why we call carbs our body's primary fuel source. It's the direct energy we get for every gram we eat.
But wait, it's not all about immediate energy. Carbs are way more talented than that. Your body is super efficient, so it stores any extra carbs as something called glycogen in your liver and muscles, kind of like a backup battery. It can even use them as raw materials to build other essential things like fats and amino acids. Oh, and they're also crucial for how your cells talk to each other. They're real multitaskers.
All right, now that we've got the basics covered, our journey can officially kick off. And the very first stop, the port of entry for that piece of toast, is, you guessed it, your mouth.
Now that piece of toast isn't immediately ready to be used as fuel, not even close. It's mostly starch, which is a polysaccharide. That's just a fancy scientific name for a super long, really complex chain made up of hundreds or thousands of smaller sugar units all linked together. So right there in your mouth, a two-part attack begins. First, mastication, which is just a cool word for chewing, physically tears the food into smaller bits. But at the exact same time, an enzyme in your saliva called salivary alpha amylase gets to work. You can think of it like a pair of tiny molecular scissors, making the very first chemical snips in those long, tangled starch chains.
So, that big polysaccharide chain is already starting to get chopped up. But to really understand what it's turning into, we need to take a quick detour and meet the whole saccharide family. These are the building blocks we're about to uncover.
When it comes to carbs, it's all about size. We start at the very top with those huge polysaccharides, the long chains like starch. The entire goal of digestion is to break them down into disaccharides, which are just pairs of two sugar units linked together. But the final destination, the ultimate prize, is the monosaccharide. One single sugar unit. So just remember, poly for many, di for two, and mono for one.
And this right here, the monosaccharide, this is the whole point of carb digestion. A single sugar unit is the only form that your body can actually absorb through your intestines and use for energy. This is the finish line. This is what all that work has been for.
But get this, not all single sugars are created equal. Take glucose and fructose. They're what we call isomers. That means they're built from the exact same atoms, same parts list. They're just arranged in a different shape. It's like building two different models from the same box of Legos. And that small structural difference is everything. It's why glucose is our body's go-to #1 energy source, while fructose from fruit gets handled a bit differently. Okay, family introductions are over. Time to get back to the journey. After a quick stop in the stomach, where acid actually pauses the breakdown for a bit, our partly digested carb mess arrives at the main event, the small intestine. And this is where the heavy machinery comes out. A much more powerful enzyme, pancreatic alpha amylase, is unleashed. It picks up right where that first enzyme in your saliva left off, but it works way faster, aggressively chopping those long chains into much shorter pieces, mostly disaccharides. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of these disaccharides, those little two sugar pairs. We're so close, but we're not at the finish line yet, right? We're not at that single unit monosaccharide level. So how does the body make those last absolutely crucial cuts?
This is where the specialists come in, the finishing crew. Right on the wall of your intestine, there's a team of highly specialized enzymes waiting. Each one has a very specific job. Maltase is there to split maltose. Lactose splits lactose, which is the sugar in milk. And sucrose splits sucrose, your basic table sugar. They perform those final, precise snips to complete the mission.
This really gets to the heart of it. The reality is, we just don't eat a lot of single-unit sugars directly. Most of the carbs in our diet are these big, complex chains. So this whole intricate, multi-step digestive process isn't just neat. It's absolutely essential to turn the food we eat into fuel our body can actually use.
And just like that, we've done it. The breakdown is finally complete. Now it's time for the final act of this incredible journey, cashing in on all that hard work.
So after all that chewing, all that enzymatic chopping and snipping and specialized cutting, we are left with these three beautiful little molecules. These are the end products, the monosaccharides, that are the grand prize at the end of this whole digestive saga. Glucose, galactose, and fructose.
From the small intestine, these simple sugars pass directly into your bloodstream. They are now officially part of you. The journey from your plate is over, and now they're being delivered all over your body, to every single cell that needs them. They are locked, loaded, and ready for action.
So let's just zoom out for a second and see the big picture. What does your body do with all this amazing fuel? Well, about 60% of it gets used right away for immediate energy. Another 30% or so is tucked away as that glycogen backup battery for later. And that last 10%, that gets used for all those other vital cell functions we talked about. Nothing goes to waste.
And that's our story. From a complex chain on your fork to a simple sugar fueling your brain, it's just this amazing process of deconstruction and delivery. So I'll leave you with this one thought. The next time you sit down to eat, will you take a second to think about the incredible molecular journey that's just about to begin?